Alright guys, so today we're off to Prime Motoring in New Jersey. If you guys don't know what Prime Motoring is, they're basically the gurus of Subaru tuning and Nissan tuning, and the guys are just wizards at what they do. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, check out the YouTube channel called Drive, and you'll see the documentary, or like the mini documentary that they've done on JR Jr. He's like the head tuner there, and he's amazing. So what we're going to do today, we're not getting a tune because we already have a tune, and we haven't got any new parts installed yet, but we're going to be going for an intake valve cleaning. So we're at approximately around 36,000 miles right now, so I think it's about time that we do get everything cleaned up. So I'll catch you guys there at the shop. So I've been hanging out here for a bit now, and I found some really cool cars here. I found an old school Nissan Skyline. I think this is an R32. We have a Supra back over here. It's got a dick drawn on the hood. We have a gutted 15 plus STI, so the transmission is out, and that's one big thing that they do here, and that is a big reason why I am here. Eventually, in the future, I'm going to be doing an STI swap. I don't know if I could say an STI swap because the amount of power that I'm actually trying to make isn't like ridiculous, so I don't know if I'll actually need an STI. I might be able to get away with just a WRX transmission, but that's kind of why I'm here today. So I want to find out what exactly I have to do to the car to get it to the power figures that I want. So the power figure that we're looking to get is around 400 wheel horsepower and around 350 torque. So I'm gonna take you guys through a couple more of the cars over here. There is a ton of them. They even sell a lot of cars, like this one over here. It has like a sold sticker on it somewhere. Oh yeah, it's right over there. It's sold. We have just so many, man. Like they're some of the most trusted guys around here, and I'm very fortunate to be this close to them. All right, it looks like the Forester might be ready to go now. I think they're all done with the walnut blasting. What I want to try and do in a little bit is get you guys some footage of the inside of the valves and see how clean they've become, and also throw up some footage of how they used to look. So the job is all done. We're just waiting for the coolant to kind of filter back into the engine, and we should be good to go. This honestly it didn't take that long. They said it was going to take about like 4 to 5 hours, and this took about 3, so not bad. Good for them. All right, so we're all done with the intake valve cleaning. We got some good news and we got some bad news. More like a combination of both, but in order to actually do the full, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's WRX or STI swap, the parts really aren't the issue. The parts are actually pretty cheap compared to what you're actually going to pay for labor and everything. Now, I thought I had a pretty good idea. I thought the labor and everything, the whole cost would be around $10,000, which is really dumb of me because it's not even close. Prime recommends that you do get a donor card just so that they can have every single part needed for the swap, like the wiring harness, the transmission, the axles, the drive shaft, everything that you would possibly need. With that, the cost comes out to around $30,000. Which is ridiculous. So at that point, it's like, why would you even do it? Which I'm super bummed about, because this was honestly the biggest thing that I wanted to do for the car. I wanted to be one of the first people to swap an SJ Forester, but sadly it just doesn't make sense. So I'm thinking in the future, the thing that might make the most sense, because I do have a ton of WRX parts on this car, I might eventually opt for a WRX. I really wouldn't want to trade this car in. I would definitely like to have it for some sort of like, you know, family SUV kind of deal. But all the parts that I do have on it currently would move over to a WRX, which honestly wouldn't be bad, because all the parts that I have on a WRX currently with flex fuel would make the power figure that I want, around 400 horsepower, 350 wheel torque, somewhere there. And then from there, I have to build up the motor, which would be an additional expense, but for the time being, I think around 400 would be pretty damn good. But yeah, that's really it. So I'm gonna go ahead and insert some of the clips of the intake valve just so you guys could see the before and the after. So I'll drive home first and I'll get those clips for you. So you guys got a little bit of an idea of the before and after. Before, I think I took that video around maybe 29,000 miles, so there was a bit of a buildup. and now when we did the walnut blasting, it was around 36,000, like we mentioned previously. So it's really not necessary to do it at this mileage, but you guys know me, I like to be as preventative as possible, so I like to kind of do things ahead of schedule a little bit. And overall, I think that's what's going to prolong the life of this car, so I think I'm going to continue doing that. Now, the thing I mentioned before about the manual transmission swap, there is another option that I was kind of exploring. So the other idea I'm thinking about exploring for the transmission is to upgrade the torque converter. Now, I've done all the research, I've read all the forum posts. You guys don't need to remind me about that or kind of like refer me to that, because that's exactly what I'm referring to. There is one company in particular that does manufacture an upgraded torque converter for our cars, or for the WRX rather. I don't know if they're still in the business of doing that. I've heard a lot of very, very shady things about this company, so I don't think I'm going to go through them, but I know that there is a couple of other companies near me that do manufacture or kind of build up torque converters. So I spoke to a couple of them. I got some information that could kind of be of value to kind of building it up, and I'm thinking when the time is right, when I do have the funds for it, I'm going to build up the torque converter. I know that there is other things that could potentially be a kink in the chain for the CVT, specifically the actual chain itself. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it's the chain. So nobody actually really knows, because nobody's actually risked it and taken apart their CVT, or actually gone to the point where they've blown it up. I know that some of you have, but like, you didn't do it in the name of science, you just blew it up because it blew up. But I'm going to attempt to do that. I'm actually going to buy an OEM brand new torque converter from Subaru. It's actually not too expensive, and then I'm going to have this company build it up. We're going to go ahead and throw it in the car, and from the numbers that I've seen from this other company that I told you guys about, they're able to get the CVT up to around 375 torque and 325 horsepower. The torque I'm not too fond of. I don't want to push it there, regardless of if we're doing an upgraded torque converter or not. The most I'd be willing to do is around 350, and I think that's actually what the FA20 DIT is able to handle anyway, so I'm not going to push past that. In an ideal world, I'd like to have like my final numbers for this car and for it to be done, and that, again, that's why I don't think it's worth it to do the manual transmission swap, because you're spending $30,000 for very, very minimal gains. I'm gonna go ahead and hope for around 350 horsepower and like 330 torque. That would really be my final numbers. So that would be a pretty big increase. That would bring my horsepower up by 70 horsepower, or 70 horses, and my torque up about like 30. And again, we're not trying to go crazy with the torque. I'd rather get a little bit more power in it. So yeah, that's my little rant. Guys, go ahead and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Let me know if any of you have ever explored this sort of option or ever gotten information about it from these manufacturing companies. I'd like to hear what they've said about it. And any information that you guys have that can kind of help me towards this is greatly appreciated. I know that like I'm very, 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 very thorough with my research, and I hope you guys are as well. By the way, I really appreciate everybody and all the support on the last video. If you guys haven't checked that out, I'll put a card on screen right now. That is for the Forester build and where we have it up till now. And a ton of you guys have been saying, oh, you should go unequal length headers. Guys, before you give recommendations on the internet, do some research. The unequal length headers do not work with the twin scroll turbocharger in this car. Plain and simple. So stop writing that I should get unequal length headers. But other than that, guys, I will catch you in the next video. If you aren't subscribed already, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you then. Take care now. Peace.